Hi Trevor, this is Rebecca with your Assignment 3 critique. So you threw me for a loop on this one because I started by reading your description of how much you admired the artwork on the psychedelic album covers, and because of how much time it seems like the artist put into their work. And then I open up your files and I don't really get that impression. And I'm just really surprised because of how clean your past assignments have been, and these album covers just aren't really up to the same standards as those other ones, as the other artwork that you've created. So, for example, this psychedelic album cover, I don't really see too much psychedelic influence on here. Like, it has a colorful background, but the background seems almost spray painted, like graffiti style, as opposed to these swirly kind of Art Nouveau inspired shapes, or even something like more celestial, or there was just so many options that I don't see being executed for this background. And then the drawing in the foreground is so digitized. It's obvious that it was drawn with a mouse, and you know, and they didn't have mice, to draw their stuff back then. And it appears that you used like the pencil tool. And I just don't really see very much integration of the tools that you learned the last couple weeks for these two album covers. Yeah. So also, this text down here is like over to the left. It's not centered. It's not clean by any means, and it's definitely not psychedelically influenced. The second image here, this punk album cover, I just don't see punk when I look at this. And this has to do with because you have an 8-bit font that you're using, these digitized, like really clean, colorful icons. I just don't see them having to do with like the punk genre at all. They're not even from the same era. These are definitely more 90s. This is all like 90s internet influence, as opposed to anything coming out of the late 70s or early 80s, from like the gritty street scene where they would use found magazines and newspapers and cut stuff up like ransom note style, and tape them onto a piece of paper and run them through a Xerox machine 100 times to post their posters, staple them to telephone poles and stuff. And this is just like the opposite of that. This is like something put together that somebody would email their friend, and it's just not really. I mean, yeah, maybe it's the new version of punk or something that you could, but that's not what we were going for on these assignments. This was, um, to show what we learned in the last few weeks, and to also, pay homage to these two genres. So I don't really see that going on in these two images. So maybe you might want to rethink these.